Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the new recording of Wilhelm Furtwängler's Second Symphony with the Estonian National Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Neeme Järvi on Chandos. Now, this symphony is extremely controversial. Some people, such as myself, think that it's actually a major work, and it's certainly Furtwängler's best piece, and it's close to being like a really, really great symphony. It has a few things that we'll talk about, but it gets there almost. But that is not a generally shared opinion. It really isn't. And to help us with the other opinion, which is the fact that it's a monumental bore of no particular interest, we have Finster. Yes. Well, hang on a second here. Let me pick this up. Okay, we dropped it. Finster. Okay. So, Finster, what do you think of Furtwängler's Second Symphony? Yes, this is definitely the opposite position. I could not get her interested in this symphony. There's nothing I could do about it. She usually is extremely responsive, when I speak to her, but she wouldn't even turn around when I mention this symphony. Right, Finster? Yes, I know. Okay. So you can go back to what you were doing. So as you can see, we're going to do this review with the two opposing points of view in split screen, as it were, so you can decide yourself whether you think that this has any interest for you. Now, Furtwängler's Second Symphony was actually, completed in the early 1950s or so. He started it way before. Most of his works he started way before, but it was only after he was in forced semi-retirement after the Second World War, before it was denazified, that he actually started to finish some of the things that he'd been writing, some of his larger works, including his symphonies, his three symphonies. The other two are dreadful. Terrible works. They really are. Excruciatingly dull. This one is not excruciatingly dull, and this performance is very exciting, I have to say. Normally, the performances that we've had before, including Daniel Barenboim's excellent version of this symphony, run about 80 minutes or so. We're talking about a work, the scope and scale of Bruckner's Eighth. It's that kind of a thing. With a 23-minute first movement, about a surprisingly short and touching andante slow movement. It's not a big symphonic adagio at all. And that usually lasts around 12 minutes. The scherzo is 15 or 16, and the finale is near half an hour. It makes no difference. It's close. Are you paying attention, Finster? Hello? I know. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so that's how most performances have gone. Now, there was a recording on Marco Polo with the BBC Symphony conducted by Alfred Walter, which is quite a bit zippier than that. And this one is even zippier than Alfred Walter. Now, the first movements are pretty much the same in all of these performances, about 23 minutes or so. But Järvi takes 10 minutes and a bit over the slow movement, which makes it quite, there we go, which makes it quite flowing and I think absolutely lovely. His scherzo, all the scherzos are about 15 minutes long. The scherzo is a piece of music that kind of plays itself. It can only go at one speed. And it's got the tune in the symphony, a really nice tune for the trumpets, da 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 da, or something like that. It sounds quite Spanish, actually. Germans always get Spanish when they want to do a tune that's interesting. You ever notice that? Siegfried's Forging Song is also Spanish. Da 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 da. It sounds like the end of the Three-Cornered Hat. Don't tell any Wagnerites that. Anyway, so, it's really charming. But the finale, which usually lasts like 28 minutes to half an hour, here is 23 minutes. It's exactly the same length as the first movement. And it's exciting. I mean, it builds to some really exciting climaxes. There's a big whack on the tam-tam towards the end. Oh, it's just terrific. However, here's the point. The slower performances, including Furtwängler's own, allow the music a little bit more time to culminate, And if you have, as Barenboim did, the Chicago Symphony with an extraordinary brass section, you can take it slower because they can sustain it. Now, the Estonian National Symphony Orchestra is a very good orchestra. They sound quite good. But Järvi is smart to not make them strain the way that the other orchestras could get away with more easily. I like this performance. I like its speed. I like its excitement. I like its freshness. The problems with this symphony are really very simple. It just lacks really distinctive thematic material. It does all the things you expect it to. It has glowing climaxes. It has some passionate string things. It has string cantilinas, you want to call them that. It really does have, the proportions are also good. Even that long finale, it builds very effectively. Its climax is built effectively. The ending is powerful, although it sort of stops, takes a little too long to get to the last note. But that when that tune comes in the scherzo, da 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 da, whatever it goes, you think, oh, wow, that's such a good tune. And the reason it's really not much of a tune, but the reason it sounds like such a great tune is because it's the only one in the symphony. Or the only one that really sticks in your memory. While it's playing, it all sounds like it's doing the right stuff. And I enjoy it. When I'm listening to it, I find it to be quite captivating. You can get immersed in its particular world, and it gets the job done. It really does. But when it's over, it's very, very hard to recapture, much of what you've heard, even though it's in slightly cyclical form at the end and the first movement and whatnot. You just don't hear it because the ideas aren't that distinctive. It's the only thing it's lacking, and it's not as big a deal as you might think it is, because when the proportions are right and the climaxes work and the scoring is full and then it's powerful and it moves, even in that slow movement, it moves. It doesn't really have dead spots. Then the fact that it may not be, the most tuneful piece of the world is less important. It really is. So there you have it. An exciting, swift, and fresh performance of the piece. I'm very happy to have heard this. I really am. The symphony deserves attention, and I think that even if Finster here would rather be licking her butthole than listening to Furtwängler's Second Symphony, well, who could blame her? Thank you, Finster. Yoo-hoo. Thank you. We appreciate your input. Go back to your... No, never mind. You get the idea. It can go either way, and it's your pick. But I think this is a pretty fine recording, and I'm awfully glad to have heard it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.